The problem has always been is that we've been born and contracted and made to be the trustees. You got to ask yourself, do you want to be the trustee or the beneficiaries? I want to benefit. So whoever doing paperwork and putting themselves as a trustee, all you doing is signing yourself up for labor and liabilities for the labor. Now, you make yourself the beneficiary. You create the trust, but the trusts are created by you, are and controlled by you because you're the creator, but they're separate entities. You create another corporation with your name. It has your name, but it's another entity outside of you with its own identification number. Now we put that information. We put all this stuff into trust. Remember, without trust, we have nothing. You know what I'm saying? We put everything into trust because we need trust. We got to trust each other, right? Put everything in trust, and we appoint us as the beneficiaries, but not the us with the social security number. Because if we give that us the benefits, the government is gonna take the shit. They got the ups on it. So whatever part of us we gonna give it to needs to be in foreign status, which is the foreign 9(8) entity.
Yeah.
Which it could be a different name or whatever like that. And it's best to have a different name when we're doing this, because now that's when we go into the name changing. That's when we go into all that stuff. I don't skip the process. I of, I know a lot of people do this. I know a lot of people skip the process of correcting the status of the initial person. They say, I'm just gonna go do the name change, do this. Like, fuck him. I mean, excuse me. I think two of my mamas online. But I gotta be halfway sensitive and stuff.
Yeah.
So look, so I'm like, so that never made sense to me, because it's like, think about it. If we operate out here with all the odds against us, and all these agents are ready to put roadblocks and challenge our standing, we're gonna get challenged. You know what I'm saying? So does it make sense to skip that entity that they have ownership over, that we've been living all these years, that's tied to all these contracts, and everything systematically speaking is registered to this person? At some point we got to understand that they have enough proof to prove that we still claim that individual, being that individual person, that initial person that's on that birth certificate and that social that had that number. Now they can run you by just like if your neighborhood or whatever. That you, because remember you registered. You had to register because you needed. In that you have to, now the cities have registration. So now you have to give them your name and it pops up. That I don't feel safe with not correcting him first. Yeah. I need to correct him first, because I don't want to leave them no room for me to skip that, and go and do all this, and then all of a sudden I'm handing them all this fancy paperwork and this and that. But they like, yeah, we see that, but we also see this too. We got proof by that. We got your face attached and your name attached to this number in multiple cases throughout your life. We got multiple addresses with your face and your name and your ad. It's like if you skip that leaves them too much room to choke and hang you, in my opinion. So
question. I thought that was the whole purpose of the UCC, capturing the name so you can return that status of being a ward of the state back to the Treasury and make them the trustee. That's why you're sending them the paperwork so they can settle the accounts. So then after you zero the accounts out for the debtor, now you can build with the 9(8) number a new identity using the collateral and equity from your debtor who's been zeroed out, and credit is now good in status wise.
Oh, cool. Okay. Now once you're using that 9(8) number, it's two separate processes. We talking about the redemption way, and we talking about
Yeah.
So, like I said, I when it gets to a certain point, I'm over here. You know what I'm saying? Because I know this works. You know what I'm saying? Now, and that's backed by remember, government respect government. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be a young black man that got government backing me up than being a young black man with a whole bunch of information and got no standing but my own and my friends.
Yeah.
I don't got time to be going to court talking about for the record this and for the record that, and here goes my whole tribe, and we here, and I want to look you in your eyes and tell you I don't want to see their faces. I don't want to see them.
I'm sorry.
You're right though.
I just thought you need to zero the debtor out so you can create that foreign status, because once you get the 9-8 number, you will be foreign to the U.S., the corporate U.S., which you wouldn't fall under their statutes and codes. You're not a party to their constitution. You are the natural living being, which your law derives from the original 10 Commandments, and that supersedes all law.
To clarify something, because I think it's like a mixture of conversations going on. Because I think, like you said, he's talking about redemption, and about trust.
It's one of them things that he
actually building the trust. The trust
exactly.
can be built without collateral. You can open the trust. So what he's explaining is actually how to open the trust and protect. You'll be protecting everything that you associate with that trust. For instance, you're gonna buy a car under the trust. It's not under my straw man. It's under that trust now. That trust owns that. They cannot touch the trust account. It's tax exempt. So that's what you're talking about, liquidating supposedly the trust that we have with this treasury account that everybody chasing.
Right.
But going back into what he was saying with the trust account and the trustees. So this is what I was thinking when I create a trust account, because you're a trustee, you have to trust that person. It has to be a reasonable person that's going to make sure that everything is executed properly. So to my understanding, I was thinking that I can make the trustee the actual trust and write out everything that I want to be done within the trust. For instance, if I have, let's say, $100,000. So what I'll make the trustee of the trust, and I'll put all the stipulations saying, okay, I got $100,000. I want my kids to receive $50,000 at this age. They do this, that. Is that virtually possible, or do I have to have another party as the trust? That's what I'm trying to clarify, because the trust can actually sustain itself without you having to do anything. If you set the trust up correctly.
You structure the trust how your trust needs to be structured. Now, but it's two important words we need to look deep into on multiple levels, metaphysically and physically. It's like is trust and will. You see what I mean? Okay, so
two different things. One private, one public.
Exactly.
The courts, they take their money, they hold your money before they give it out. The lawyers make money off of all that, and the trust keeps private. And that's how these 1%ers keep their stuff in the private, non-tax, and we don't know what the hell they got or their beneficiaries.
Exactly.
Now look, he still stands correct when he says the process, as far as sending that birth certificate, pretty much giving it back to him or whatever, giving him the birth certificate or a certified copy of it, of that birth certificate, because you're still holding the title. Now, those certified copies of that birth certificate, how can I explain this? Those are like, okay, let me tell y'all a story. You're the title holder. You're the supreme. You have the title of this. All right, I got a company, right? And I'm 100% owner. Now, I want to bring all y'all in. Right now, we got 19 people in the room. I want to bring all y'all in. So all I do is revise my articles, and pretty much I break y'all in by shares. So each one of y'all are gonna get what? A share certificate. Which is we're inches, right? Which means which proves that birth. So what happens what do you think happens when we send if they're requesting that we go to court and we send in whatever affidavit we send it in along with that birth certificate?
What's the question? It went on my head. What?
Okay.
Say it again. Say it again. You cut out on my head.
Okay. We're the title holders, owners of the supreme title. Now, somebody's looking for interest in that title. Okay, I'm glad. Okay, now I got it. These people are looking for interest in that title that you're the owner of because you just claimed it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't it be the exact formula to as far as giving them interest of that title is ordering a certified copy of that birth certificate and sending it in to them?
Yep.
The person who got the land.
They want when they're summons you to court, your name is in all caps. They're talking about that birth certificate.
Period.
They talking about the corporation. So if they're talking about the corporation, they're asking you or demanding interest from the corporation. So give them a share.
Oh, so you give him the original. Oh.
No.
Not the original, but you send him a copy.
A certified copy.
And then they discharge the debt based off of that bond.
You're the owner of the certificate of live birth.
Oh, okay.
Which is the corporation. You own it. You claimed ownership. Okay, you want to share? Here you go. I got unlimited shares. I'll just keep ordering them. It costs $17 at the courthouse. Here you go.
Check this out. Bro, just to reiterate real quick. Now, you get 10 birth certificates, right? For your lifespan, like Social Security cards. Now, what you want to do as a secure party authorized rep, all you're in there as a third party intervener, basically invoking your right to subrogation just to settle, which your signature gives the credit. We don't have the birth certificate. You going in there as proprio persona, which fiction can't interact with a real person. You going in there just to give your signature for credit. They don't want private and public mixing. So we don't need to do all that other talking. Everything else is on the record. Your paperwork precedes you. You're just going in there to assert your right. A person that does not assert a right
doesn't have any.
Law.
Can the church say amen? Yeah.
Look, this is when he's talking about going into court, right?
Yeah. Okay. Now, if you got a warrant, you might not want to go to court. So that's when you better be sending them a share, share of your property.
Abated or habeas corpus, abated. Keep that warrant right in the courthouse.
Yeah. So here's a question I have. I mean, I heard you say that there's a maximum of 10. Are you telling me you can't order more than 10 certified copies of the birth certificate? Is it only at one time or during the course of a lifetime?
A lifetime, you only get 10 because they know it's equivalent to money. Credit of account, not money of exchange, credit of account, which go back into. So
you're saying it's virtually impossible for somebody to own 15 certified copies of their birth certificate?
I haven't seen it done.
Hello?
So they're counting your birth certificates as you place an order?
They know this is a commercial system, period. Admiralty and Maritime. This is all commerce. It's a corporation. So you got to think of it as business. It's just business. All we doing is accounting and ledgering, assets and liabilities.
So okay, 10 shares.
I'm trying to be clear, hold it, because when people over the course of a lifetime, particularly when you get up in age, I'm 60 years old, so when you get up in age and you got you might have ordered a birth certificate for your marriage license. You order one when you had to send away 2 of them for your visa. I'm trying to figure out at what point do they stop when you say, look, I need a certified copy of my birth certificate. At what point do they tell you, no, we're not going to give you one?
Call vital statistics in your area and just ask them.
I think he's talking about Social Security numbers.
That's birth certificates too, both of them. They're both private.
There's no way they can count how many times you've certified your birth certificate.
So
Yes,
she's talking
they
about
monetize it. So they have to count it. They have to know how much money is out.
But you've
Period.
had to turn it into someone for them to know.
Nah, because in order to get one, you got to go down there and order one from the
Yeah, you
county.
gotta order
certified
it.
copy. You order a certified copy.
You got to
know,
give a
it's
signature.
different,
Oh,
but
that signature. This is all commerce. You got to
I
look
was
at it
not
like
told
commerce.
that. I was not given a minimum in
Call,
Kansas anyway.
call them. I'm in Missouri.
Yeah.
Call them and ask them. I was
So
born
you
in
mean
Kansas.
to tell me that there's a point at which, because I do know that it's on record, you know, you order a birth certificate and you might order 3 copies, you know, and you might order 3 copies back in 1979. You know, you might have ordered another 4 copies back in 1985. You know, so somebody my age, you know,
Well,
I
you
mean,
got
you
three
telling
left.
me
You got
that
three left.
at this point, I'm all out of birth certificates?
Well, you can, can't you copy the copy and get it certified?
it's just a
What?
copy. I don't
Can't you
understand.
copy the copy and get it certified?
No, because
No.
you have to get the original certified on all 3 levels, your
See, I didn't
state
know.
level and then federal level.
Yeah.
And they got to correct
Let me-
vital statistics.
Now,
Because you can't get
I'm
the original.
gonna say.
That's
I'ma
not
say
the,
this.
nobody got the original. That's just a certified copy.
right, nobody got
Exactly.
the original.
Certified copy from the vital statistics, and people are saying that it's a maximum. The thing that I'm hearing here is just people are losing their birth certificates. No matter where you send it at, you get it back. I send my birth certificate a lot of times, so we just got to be more responsible with our paperwork.
Well,
Exactly.
I'm gonna say this because you know they tell you to go to vital statistics or the vital records, whatever, online and order it.
Don't do it.
However, I recently checked into Illinois, where I was born in the hospital. The hospital actually has a record. They don't go through vital records or anything like that. The Secretary of State actually sends
I'm
you
busy on it.
the birth certificate in long form. So that may not be true about that 10 unless they talk about the vital records and vital check.
I think
But-
that's
but-
state regulated. It has to be.
I'm sorry. The state, they have to keep a copy. The original was put on the world market, the SEC. So you're not gonna ever get that one back. All they can do is give you copies, and they put a maximum on the copies. They know people are starting to get conscious. Those are bonds. Bonds have QSIPs. You can monetize a bond.
Yep.
Stocks and bonds. You can get par and interest off those. People buy our debt. Period.
Yep.
Now I understand why you're saying that maybe that state has a max cap 10 or whatever, because you're getting 10 different bonds, 10 different numbers on them when you get them. So I understand the math behind that. So like they said, check your state, check what your max is, because you're actually being executed bonds, and now that people are being aware of it, they may put restrictions, more restrictions.
That makes sense.
Exactly.
Now that you're saying it,
Exactly.
now they're putting a cap, because a person my age, I know there was no cap when I started getting copies of birth certificates when I was 12. So I mean, maybe now they said, oh no, we gonna stop this. These niggas can't get no more than 10 now.
Yeah. They know what people doing.
That's possible.
Okay.
That's
People are
possible.
actually trying to monetize their own birth certificate.
Now you're gonna make me start digging up some files looking for all them certified copies.
Hey, that's what you gotta
Better
do.
grab them shares.
And
You
go
know,
get
shit.
some things authenticated, each last one of them that you find. But like I said, be aware too that vital statistics, I don't know if it's a computer or it's manual that they mess up birth certificates. I got 3 different ones for my daughter, 3 different date of births, and my name spelled
Well,
wrong.
you know, that's what we do. You know, we get one in Ray and Baby name for the.
No, that's not what I do. I'm just telling you, when you're trying to do it correctly, pay attention to what's on it, because you're going to get this authenticated and you may not have the right information. My daughter was like, am I born on the 5th? I'm like, no. She's like, well, my birth certificate is different. And then I noticed that copy was a different birth certificate.
That's when your straw man was
the filing process. FYI.
Exactly.
Interesting.
It's all game.
Good information. And then I'm gonna look more into sending that birth certificate, and that was something that I didn't really hear about, but I'll look into it.
Yeah. So JB, right. He as far as if you went all the way through the redemption process and pretty much giving it back to him, giving that back to him, and addressing and directing him to zero out the account and XYZ. You can continue on with that process along the way, or you could just do that, give it back to him, and just move on to the other, to the other side of the fence, just to be safe. You know what I'm saying? Because that just sending it over to them with that declaration is actually another form of status correction involving that birth certificate. And ultimately, my foundation, the overall focus of everything has always been status correction. I think of different ways to correct status in my sleep. You know what I'm saying? Discharging debt and the money, all that stuff gonna come. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm always concerned about having the proper standing, legal standing in whatever I'm doing, because I don't want nothing to backfire. I want to be able to enjoy my life discharging debt and doing this, doing that. When I start doing big stuff, so I test stuff out on stuff that I got going on. Like I start testing out. Hey, I got a lot of tickets in my life, so I start testing out on that. Okay, I got some issues with cars and stuff like that, so I test that on that. A lot of encounters with police, right? Test it out with that. We got to start applying it to the small things or big things we have going on in our lives that we can afford to test it on. Not testing it on some stuff that, oh my God, I hope this works because I don't got the money to pay for it. Well, that might be the time that you might, if you ain't got the money to pay for it, all you can do is try to discharge this shit. I mean, it's either or. So either or. But don't be in the mind frame of some people that they'll have the money, but they'll think they have some type of magic card or whatever. They gonna send that in and spend the money. No. Wait till you make sure it go through you good before you know what I'm saying, make that move or whatever. But
you know what I see on this journey, it is spiritual, because you got to have that right frame of mind just to do the right thing. If you're doing the right thing, you ain't got to worry about all the other bull. You proceed with faith, period. Without faith, it's impossible to please him. So you got to do it by faith regardless.
That's it.
Spirituality and the money mechanics. I'm definitely one that's versed in that, and the power of manifestation and having those positive thoughts. You're gonna generate ideas, creative ideas that come to you that you actually like you said, come through with remedies and ways to get new information. So like
exactly.
I said, be in the vibration of positive, knowing that these things are gonna work, and that it's a process.
Exactly.
Learning and being positive about it. So.
Yes, absolutely. That's important, because one of the main important things of what she just said is that is ultimately knowing that we have the power and authority to create, because all these remedies that we've tried and that have worked and that do work out there, somebody had to figure it out. Exactly. Somebody had to be like, you know what? How about this? You see what I mean? It's like, so now, and all that's gonna come naturally with the faith. Once we start getting comfortable and secure in the things that we're doing. Now, like I say, it's like when we go to start a new job. First we go through the process of doing everything exactly how they say do it, so we can make sure we're doing everything correct. And then after that, we start being like, man, I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Like man, you start finding ways to work smarter, not harder. You start telling supervisors like, dude, why don't you just put all the boxes over here and like all labels? Like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, nigga, it do. But stuff like that. And that's what we gotta do. We have to do that, and that's vital to our survival, because the problem is people exhaust remedy. People exhaust them. Because once stuff starts getting out there, and we got people that's doing it, and information gets out, and people that start doing it that don't really understand how to do it, start interfering and manipulating and misusing remedy, that goes against us. So now what the oppressor gonna do? Create a system that interferes and regulate that system that we created. So we always have to we can't depend on a remedy falling in our laps or digging it up on Google. You know what I'm saying? We have to find other ways.
Well, like you said,
faith. You know what I found out? Do you know they'll flag your email address as spam on some sites, and you can't get authentic laws and information? So it's like, do I got to get a private VPN number so I can encrypt my web. You know what I'm talking about, though?
Yeah, I tell you this. Right now, I'm having problems posting on Facebook. Like when stuff happened to me, I know what it is. I knew it was coming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I got so many dedicated trolls. I be like, are you getting paid? How are you a full-time troll? How? You on all my videos? You on all of them. You don't like me. Why are you watching?
They get notified.
You already know the police. You already know that Facebook is tied in the FBI, CIA, all the local police agencies. You know that they have a dedicated office in every single city with 30 to 40 police officers that have nothing else to do but what they're supposed to do, which is to read Facebook, all of your posts, all of these other things. So as long as you're not talking about anything, you don't have to worry about it. But you know that there are key words that are said that automatically red flag you. Once you red flag, once you start getting a following, they got to shut you down. They have to. How are the white supremacists going to look out for their power base unless they do what they do? So we can't be mad when a dog barks. That's what dogs do.
Just know it comes with the territory, because we got to know that it was not. These platforms were not meant to be used in that fashion. We're supposed to be using these platforms for entertainment purposes. You know what I'm saying? Just random stuff. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't meant to be utilized as a resource center or to communicate with our brethren. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. It wasn't meant to be used to organize each other and to come in and share information. That's why I tell people that own these, that's heads over these big groups. I'm a part of the groups to you know what I'm saying, to share and this and that and stuff like that. But I knew from the jump, I'm not gonna put all my marbles. I'm gonna own my own territory. All my stuff is gonna be on my own private network. You see what I mean? Because guess what? It's people disappearing. Their pages are disappearing, deleted. Because they never had the full anything that's uploaded. It's no such thing as a private Facebook group. It's not private. You see what I mean? A private. How is it a private Facebook group? Right. Like it's stuff like that. Like
and there's no such thing as delete. Because I've been trying to delete some
inboxes
stuff.
either. It don't matter if it's an inbox either. Now I will say, any one of y'all that want private email panels and email addresses, anybody that wants anything private on that area, I own my own server, so I got all that. I will be starting a private chat room and other stuff. I'm gonna be relaunching soon, but I do got all that. And as far as internet browsing, we can use DuckDuckGo is good. You can download the anonymous browsers called Tor. Download Tor, so it automatically changes your IP address every time. You can set it to change every 5 minutes. 1 minute you in Nebraska, next minute you in Hawaii. You know, it can't keep up with you. You see what I mean? So that's how we do it. You know, we definitely got to get off these Yahoos and Googles and stuff like that. And you know, if we use them,
you better make it browser for dummies, because us old heads, you know.
You can talk to it now. You can talk to it.
I still got an AOL email, so you already know.
Right now the private panels are very they're very clean, straight to the point. Y'all be able to use it no problem. Y'all be able to use it with no problem. You know, and then what I can do is I can have all the mail, because I know a lot of if you've been getting mail, some of us had the same email for years. So you don't want to be managing multiple emails. So I can transfer all, if you have 20 different emails, I can transfer all of the emails to your private server. You know what I'm saying? So you never have to worry about any type of issues long term or whatever. And as far as
not only same email, same password. I think I had the same password for 20 years.
Yeah, Joe.
I know you don't expect me to remember. Everything you go on needs a password. So, as a 60-year-old woman, I'm supposed to remember the password? Not happening. So, the same password. So, you're going to have to work with your godmother, Hellraiser, okay?
I got you.
Well, you can talk to them now. That's why they made the phones where all you got to do is talk to them now. You can use their technology.
We also got private phones, too. We got private phones, too, because the phones are not secure at all.
Never
at
been.
all. At all.
And you know you get an update. You know you get an update now like 3 times.
That's
a
what
month.
the updates are for. That's what the
Yeah, getting
updates
all
are
this
for.
information.
Literally,
Y'all iPhone users getting updated. Us old heads with Samsung, we cool. But
Nah, no, you're not. Y'all not. Y'all are.
$1,000 iPhones. Y'all
Android.
get an update every
No,
time.
that's a droid. You know? Do you know how bad a droid is on as far as vulnerability as far as with viruses? Really? No, that's the worst.
iOS.
Okay. I'll say this then. The cell phone is like a portable computer, a handheld computer. Is it not a fact that everybody that's had both a PC and a Mac, which one got more viruses? Which one has got more viruses? That Apple computer or the PC?
The PC.
The PC.
Exactly. And you got to keep on cleaning to keep on wiping it out.
You gotta have a freaking certificate in computer programming to operate a Mac.
No, you don't. I mean, the Mac ain't no better. The Mac ain't no better either.
And wealthy people, Samsungs, Androids. This is for dummies. I don't have no problem. You know, I know my limitations.
This the thing. The Apple is no better. The Apple is no better. They're just more sophisticated and not making us aware that we're infected. That's the only difference. And I'd rather deal with a system that at least is not gonna make me feel like I'm sick. You know what I'm saying? I can keep enjoying my.
You sitting here with a phone, Apple phone that you can't get in the back of, which prevents you from tampering with. You know, a lot of these things, the battery. The battery records everything on your battery. On the Android phone I still have, the battery has a coating on it that sends your information, all your pictures and everything to, FBI, blah, blah. So when people found out, some people, people that are in the know, found out about it, they started taking the coating off their battery. In order to do it, you got to get in your phone. So Apple stopped that. They locked your phones down where you can't even get in. You can't put no kind of stuff on your phone to prevent them from getting the information. There's a reason why they did that.
You could jailbreak it, but everything that's connected to the internet or telephone wire can be hacked, period. It's all iOS. You just got people sitting around there putting numbers and algorithms. You can't get away from that. You could
I wish that
prolong
something because I ain't got but 5 TV channels. So all you jailbreakers, y'all give me a call. Take my number down now.
Fire Stick, Amazon Fire Stick.
Right. If y'all can teach me just how to get on, I'll be okay. I got my mama sitting around here wanting to watch the have and the have nots. So if y'all can find a way for me to get that program without having to buy 140 channels, let me know. That's the best information I could have got off of this tonight.
Oh yeah, Fire Stick all day.
Hey, Lorenzo.
Hellraiser, I gotta go to bed. Us old folks, we gotta go to bed. Y'all been on about 3 hours. I love you. I'm gonna try and listen in for a little while longer, but it's awesome. I appreciate all of the information. I look forward to seeing this lovely family of intellectuals again.
Hey, can you answer some of those questions in chat?
Before you answer the question, I just want to ask you just to clarify. You said porn, because I'm having, me as a content creator, I'm having some issues. Since I made that video about the Rothschilds, it went downhill, and I'm noticing it. It don't matter what type of videos I put out, and also I know about the Facebook thing because I have my group, and my posts get changed, like literally. I'm like, yeah, why is it changed? So I wanted to be able, like you said, to scramble them up and change my PCA server because I think that's really what's slowing down the production. So what did you say? It was Tor and what else?
Tor, and you can download Tor, or you can go to DuckDuckGo.com. DuckDuckGo is a private browser.
Okay, I'm gonna look into that.
But Tor is more sophisticated. Hey, Vanessa, is that you?
Yep.
I didn't know that was you. What's up? You say answer the questions and it's a question.
There's a couple of questions about UCC 11, and I had a question. You were talking about once you get your PO box number and fill out your ERN. Don't the PO box have a physical address also? So which address would you use on the form?
Yeah, PO box has a physical address, but the problem with the address change with the PO box they're not gonna change it to make the address read as a physical address. It's gonna be PO box. That's the problem.
The physical
Well,
address.
when I went to go get one, he said they did have a physical address because some businesses needed that.
What, to use their physical I mean, so would they be able to make it as far as when you do your address? You gotta see if with your address, can they make it read as a physical address and
Yes.
not a PO box?
Yes.
Okay. You gotta. I don't know if it's different. It's a reason why I didn't go with the post office. It's a reason why I didn't go with the
This
post office.
is USPS. This is USPS.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You say somebody had a question about
UCC 11.
can you really charge off debt with
It
UCC
says, can
11?
you really change your debt with the UCC 11?
All right. So this is the thing with the UCC 11. I've seen somebody say
That was me.
I seen somebody say that they filed their UCC 11 and they didn't get nothing back. It was blank. A UCC 11. The whole point of it is to be able to do a search to see if the so-called agency that's so-called claiming they have a claim against you or that you owe them a debt, to see if they actually have a lien against you. So you ordering that certified copy of that UCC 11 for that particular search verifies and validates that they don't actually have a claim against you. So you send that UCC 11 in along with your validation of debt.
Okay.
Bow. That's the whole purpose of that.
I see.
Question, what I was telling you about personally, you think that my mother just filed a UCC 11 because as when she looked onto her credit report, it's not there. So should that be one of her stands in regards to that debt situation?
Remember, it's not necessarily you're not filing the UCC 11. You're requesting.
Yeah.
It's like a record. It's like records. So you're requesting, but you're only doing that after, of course, your mother would have to go through the process, the initial process first, to be able to utilize that.
Oh,
so now,
what? Being private?
Doing the UCC 1.
Oh, do the UCC 1 and then put the house under her collateral, or what? I mean, otherwise in regards.
Yeah, she's gonna do that. That comes with the territory. Yeah, you claim everything. Basically, you need to be secured party before you're doing these methods.
Oh, okay. So let me ask you a question. If you don't own the house, because I didn't own my home, so I didn't think that I would put that under my UCC.
Well, technically, we don't own nothing. We don't own nothing anyway.
Okay.
We don't own nothing.
Okay.
You paid for it when you signed it.
Yeah, they own
it.
Even if it's paid in full, we still don't own it.
Exactly. We don't own them. Yeah, you're right.
What about you said something about I'm confused about the EIN number with your W-2. My understanding was the EIN number is when you have employees using it for your trust, say for instance.
Yeah,
so how can you put EIN number on your W-2? That sounds like it's kind of fraudulent.
Well, it can't be fraudulent when the employment application asks you for your social security number or your TIN.
Mm-hmm.
It said or. We decided to ignore that and just put a social right there. It says it right there.
So when IRS gets that, it won't be a problem.
It says it right there. Or TIN number. You know what I'm saying? It's for tax purposes. You didn't we have laws to back up. You never had to disclose your social security number. And not only that, the Social Security Administration will back up your claim. And I think I sent those. Well, I gave those documents in the video, whatever. The last video I did about the employment. Like literally to present to the employer that discriminates against you for not giving the Social Security number. That's already backed up. All this stuff is not nothing that can't be found. You never had to disclose your Social Security number. It said Social Security number or tax identification number.
Oh, I was just wondering.
Yeah. Hey, just to help them, that W-8 BEN is authentic. It's just they don't like to let you use it because each employer gets paid for everyone to fill out a W-2. So they don't like for you to do the W-8-BEN.
I
You
did
just have
that.
to renew it every
I did that since
and
August.
did they
Yeah.
Yeah. Now
they
that
didn't let you
WB8,
use
Yeah,
that?
they took it.
they took it.
Did they take
Yeah.
any taxes out?
Yeah. It's a small company, so they probably don't know what they was taking. But yeah,
They're
they
not
took it.
supposed to take any taxes out.
Say that again.
They're not supposed to take any taxes out of your check. You're supposed to get your whole check. That
Except for,
W-8-BEN.
no, you have to do, remember, Lorenzo, I told you, you have to do a separate form for Medicare and Social Security.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah, yeah.
okay?
Yeah, you do. You do.
And I did that, and it takes about 90 days. I'm waiting on that. But I do have it to where they don't take out my state or my federal with the
Okay.
Yeah,
W.
you're doing the right thing. You're on the right path.
So we're talking about two different tax
Right.
status corrections right there.
Right.
Two different tax status
Yeah.
corrections right there. See what I mean? It's like everybody thinks status correction is one thing. Because we deal in business in different environments and different agencies. Two different things. Now,
Yep.
a lot of people ask about the bank accounts. You can open up a bank account with a Social Security number, which is voluntary, in which the government will be able to come in there and take your money out if you own, or the state, or you can use your EIN number. You know what I'm saying? Or if not that, you have two W-8 numbers. One is for the corporation,
Right.
and one is for it's for you. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when they go to that other screen. Like, okay,
The
wow.
done.
And that's when you open up a secured account.
Yeah.
That's when you ain't that when you get like the DUNS number?
Well, you can get a DUNS number regardless of whatever. You can get that with 24 to 48 hours.
I'm saying ain't that like the credit side? Ain't that like the credit side of the corporation though, of your business?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. You talking about credit side as far as I know Vanessa. Don't know we was talking about the private side and public side of the bank account. Like once it hits in anything 0 and above and the positives is all public. Then once it goes to the negative, we're dealing with the private, in which those funds in that account will always remain open and active for our usage. But depending on how we conduct business, whether we conduct it privately or publicly, determines if we can utilize those funds. That's when I told you that I closed out that account I had when they tried to levy my account. When the account that I used with a Social Security number, and they tried to levy like 3 of my accounts, and I used the lawful money remedy I deposited the check by my phone and wrote the laws and stuff like that on it, deposited, and it forced the account to shut down. It cleared all the debt, and they sent me back a bank statement. They keep sending me bank statements. I thought y'all said the account was closed. A bank statement with that says your balance is 0. I said whatever, and then I said, of course, I sent them notice on top of that to exert my rights to utilize the method I just used, and in return, they sent me back on top. They sent me back the check. They sent me back a different version of the check. They call it a check 21. A check 21 is, they said it could be used exactly as if it was a check. And on the back of the check, it gave me all the laws that back up secure my rights into utilizing the check 21. I haven't moved on further on that, but I always kept that document to be able to show, like, once you hit them in certain ways, they have to give you once you claim your rights, they have to tell you what, okay, you know what, I see you did such stuff, but this is your right to use that. Because in any document I see that goes against something, I'm exposing a fraud within their system. So in the mix of that puts them against the wall. Like, oh shit, we forgot. Oh yeah, you're right. Oh, by the way, since you are using it, Mr. McDonald, you also can do this. Yeah, I bet I can. Don't stop sending me that shit. My mama's off the line now.
What was that again? That sounds like the blank check method. I'm learning about this. They talk about this blank check method. And
You mean closed check?
yeah, closed checking account method. I do apologize.
That's what it is. It's
Some
the
other
close.
things I'm gonna email you about personally, but
Now the stuff I had on that was pretty extensive. That's why I only did it when I had to, because it was a lot of information that was involved in a process, and I don't know, I just didn't do it, but I had to do it at that particular time. But I clearly stated on the check for the exact amount that they tried to take out, because I did it while I remember everything is in 72 hours with a new offer to shut it down. So now the state tried to levy 3 accounts. Funny how they try to levy every account with my social, but within one bank account, I had 4 different accounts, 2 personal, 2 business. Isn't it a coincidence that they didn't touch nothing involving my business?
Hello.
Because they can't. That's proof right there. So I did what I did, and I'm like, okay, I know. So now I look at the bank account. Now the transactions are pending. So I know in 3 days it's gonna actually hit. So I went ahead, I pulled out whatever I had. I'm like, you know what? This is my only alternative to try. You know what I'm saying? So I did everything. I wrote on the check. I think I wrote it out for the exact amount that they was trying to take to be able to balance out the books. I didn't go over a penny. You know what I'm saying? I didn't go over to try to gain anything. I did exact amount to clear the debt when it's zero to balance the book. And then I wrote at the bottom for set off and discharge only, not for deposit. Turned around on the back. EFT redeeming lawful money XYZ. Wow. Snapshot, sent that shit off. Case dismissed. Never heard from him.
Yep. Hey, hell right.
More deeper.
Hold on 1 second, bro.
That's why that ties into the pure party, because when you
Breaking up.
You say what?
He was breaking up.
Okay.
Oh, you talking? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you broke up.
On my phone. I said that's also what ties into the secure party processes, because when you send that bond, that's kind of creating that closed account through your bank account. And that routing number would be your certified mail number, which is referencing where they're discharging that bill from. You just can only do it from an FDIC bank, that's connected to the federal government. Credit unions, I'm with a credit union, and they say they can't do it because they have a credit union association. So they like a NAUA versus the FDIC is federally backed. So that's why you send it to the secretary, because they're going to send it to the Internal Revenue that does those UCC trust accounts. They've developed a division for those, since so many people have gotten conscious to this. It's just they've been filling them out the wrong way.
You did it on the UCC3, your closed account?
No. I was trying to do the closed account. I went just the debt discharge way. But I'm going to get into the closed accounts, but that gets fishy, because when you start dealing with numbers, people was getting locked up because they was using their Q numbers off the back, their social security cards, or their birth certificates. And we don't own that. The state owns that. So that's fraudulent. But when you create your bond with the secure party, that's numbers that you created that they must use now. Only for debit and discharge, only.
What you was gonna say?
Could you just send me, just a general about the closed bank account method that you kind of have? Because I've been receiving some information. I just want to get some clarity, because I'll email you personally about what I'm inquiring about. But could you send that to me? Because I definitely.
I send it to you.
And by your experience, you proved that it worked. You proved that it worked. You should have wrote it like 25 cents more.
I don't owe them a debt. I don't owe either of the banks a debt, and none of my stuff is reported to the check system.
Exactly. That's why they said they to a point keep these accounts open so they can continue to use it on the private side and make claim to it somehow. So, information. Okay.
Man, I did. Did any of y'all watch my video about the postal money order?
Yes. Good info. Why don't you tell us how that works when it comes to now, from my understanding, you go and get the money order and you file it with your UCC3, and then you return it to the post office, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was sharing a concept.
Yep, that's a good concept.
You know, because it flew out there in the secure party creditor group. You know what I'm saying? So I was trying to help Jonathan, because everybody was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "All right, let me try to piece this together the way it makes sense to me." Because now it's a lot of different. I've heard of a lot of different things. I took the time to really try to put that together on making sense to me, because that's a excellent concept.
Yeah, it is.
You think about money order. You order, you're demanding. It's like, okay, and knowing what those money orders is backed by, and now I'm looking at this money order, and it's looking more and more like a check.
Yes.
And we all know
expire. It doesn't expire.
It doesn't expire, whether we give it back to them or not, right?
Right.
So if we're looking at it, we acknowledge that it is a check. That means there is a bank somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. So we know whether we have a tangible check or not, you can still make payments over the phone by check, right? As long as you got the counter out numbers. You know what I'm saying? And that has, I don't know if that was a bond number on there or a check number, or maybe both or whatever. But my thing was the first in line, the first in time. Though that concept, so you order the money, make demand for the money order, which might be the actual lawful money we're supposed to be using in the first place. Could have been. We just had to order it. So we take that, we make a true copy. We put everything that back. Now it's a negotiable instrument. And we use everything, every law and every clause that gives us right to utilize and create negotiable instruments. Once we make that creation and we claim that on the UCC, and now we write that out, the amount of the debt on that negotiable instrument. Now we take that other instrument back, because we already ordered it and got what we needed. Now we give it to them. We give it back to them. They're probably gonna redeposit that shit and get money back from it too. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what are they do? Throwing it away? They're not throwing it away. You know? We just produce the instrument for them to use. Right. Us giving it back does not void out that what's the name. So that's and I would like all of us to at least, because that's something we could try on something very small and just perfect it. Don't do nothing. I'm not about running out doing no dramatic stuff. Right. Let's try the smallest things that we can afford to try it on. If it work, it work. It don't, it don't. Let's see the response. Let's test. That's how you just test the waters. If we perfect a method like that, do you know how much? Oh my God, that's sick right there. Because it's one thing to give a document or a negotiable instrument weight to it that you created and printed out from your own computer. It's another thing to use something directly from that particular type of source, and me knowing that the post office has more power than all these agencies. The post office runs it without the post office.
It's gonna say everything I do, you're gonna fucking doubt it.
Shut up, man.
I know you.
I know you. I think you should press mute real fast.
Right.
I need a.
I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna find her. Somebody explain segregation.
I mean, it's another reservation of rights. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I stand on my UCC 1-308. I never switched up from that.
But Lorenzo did a good video with the young lady on that.
Yeah, she did a combination. She switched it up in court, and but on the record she did the reservation of rights. And then she did the an affidavit to demand the oaths of officers from the courts and the judges and the officers, and also to prove jurisdiction and proof of a victim. But one thing I've noticed is that a lot of people don't have the same results as everybody else.
True.
It's because, and the only thing I can think of, I take that stuff serious, because if that's the case, there's something not either being done right or something missing, and maybe not in the procedure or the remedy, but in that particular person. And only thing that I can think of so far is that the stuff that worked for me but don't work for somebody else is the simple fact that they're not in a certain status. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can think of. It's like because it does make more sense if you put in more work and time and you've actually taken the time to secure yourself on different levels, and you do some stuff and it just works, and somebody else that hasn't really done anything, it don't work, it kind of makes sense. Like, that's why it didn't work. Because one thing I do know is that they utilize their systems to, they run your names. They do a run on you when you send certain stuff in. They do they quick searches to check and see if you false flagging or not.
Right. Sure they do.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, let me see who this person is. You know,
especially when you don't get no you know that you're doing it right too when you don't get no responses. Like with a ticket I had, I did the process, and remember I was telling you, Lorenzo, I went out to the court and the whole thing was gone off the record.
It just disappears. Disappears.
Hey, Lorenzo.
Uh-huh.
Now, from my understanding, I've been looking at the subrogation thing. It's kind of like you just going from the public and private real quick, because normally they only invoke it in insurance claims when the insurance company want to pay off the victim and come after you for the money. But on the commercial side in court, it's for the public debtor to put theirself in a creditor's position just to set off the appearance bond, because they always got to have an appearance bond, and then they got to have a performance bond. So if anybody has any harms against that corporate name, the attorney, they'll bond it up and settle in discharge. All you're doing is asking for the court to settle the case by you giving them your signature on that appearance bond, basically. But if you don't understand the commercial aspect of it, they will test you on why, invoking that right. And they'll dismiss it. So you can use it to get a dismissal. But if you're trying to get money, then you'll have to go a little further. But if you're trying to get it dismissed, then just understand and put you in the creditor's position to be able to.
Bro, they breaking you all up.
Right.
Sorry. They don't want this work.
That's the matrix.
Yeah.
You telling some good stuff.
You can see it.
So you couldn't hear me at all? Couldn't hear me at all?
You were sounding like a robot.
His service is bad. Look at the corner. His service is bad.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, you can say those 4 words fine.
Right.
Okay.
Say the S word you were just using. Say the S word.
Service. It's his service.
Subrogation, can you hear it?
Subrogation.
You cut out right after the word.
Yeah, they don't want that. Subrogation just takes you from the debtor side to the creditor side real quick to settle out the case with no argument.
You can do that with a criminal matter, like a misdemeanor?
It's not criminal, it's all civil in commercial.
If you ain't hurt nobody, it ain't criminal.
Yeah,
okay.
That's a good point, because we got the misinterpretation, because what they try to do is